Hi, and welcome to Crafts with Ash DIY and Decor. My name's Ashley, and today I'm going to bring you 10 really quick and easy Halloween last-minute DIYs. We are going to be covering everything from witches to skulls to love you to death theme, so there's something here for everyone. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if you love what you see. All right, let's jump into these last-minute Halloween DIYs. So like I said earlier, these DIYs are all brand new, but for this first one, I'm going to be repurposing something I made a long time ago on my channel, so I thought that I would add the footage from 3 years ago on how I made it, just so you can kind of like get up to speed. So I just took this mirror from the Dollar Tree, and now I'm just dabbing some black paint on the mirror side, and then I took some white paint and lightly went around the black part of the mirror. So as you can see, I have that spooky word. Now speed up to present day. I am going to go ahead and take off that spooky word. It was just hot glued on there, so I just used my heat gun. And then I'm going to set that aside and take 2 of these skeletons that come in that garland pack. And I don't really love the color, so I'm just going to use my Iv'e chalk paint and paint over them. Now, you don't really need to paint the back. Really, you just want to pay attention to the front. So next, I'm going to hot glue both of these skeletons on the little mirror, and I put hot glue on their heels and then hot glued it to the bottom inside of the mirror. You'll see in a second, I do push the mirror up. I know it's out of frame here. And then I kind of just set their feet down. So this year for my bedroom, I am doing the Love You to Death theme, and it is kind of like that deep purple, deep red, and then skeletons. And so I thought I saw a lot of really cute decor at Michael's, but I just did not want to spend the money. And I'm like, you know what? I have pretty much everything I need to make these DIYs, so I'm just gonna make what I can. So that's kind of where I got the inspiration for this DIY. It's different. It's not exactly the same, but I just thought this was super cute. So now what I'm going to do is hot glue one of the skeleton's hands down onto the mirror part, and then I'm going to hot glue the other skeleton hand on top of the first skeleton hand. Does that make sense? Basically, so they're holding hands. Now, I do arrange the heads so they're looking at each other because, you know, they're in love. It's the Love You to Death theme, or Till Death Do Us Part, however you want to call it. And because one is supposed to be me and one is supposed to be my husband, I went ahead and added a little bow to one of the skeletons on the head for me. And then I'm going to tie another little bow and add it to the neck, or where the neck is supposed to be, kind of like at the top, for a little bow tie. And I thought this came out so cute, and I can't wait to display it. Now you're going to get a better look of all these DIYs at the end, so hang with me. All right, so like I said, in my bedroom, I'm doing that deep, like red theme. And I saw this at the Dollar Tree and thought it was perfect. And it kind of has the shape of a heart too, so it was just perfect. However, I don't need vampire ashes. So I'm going to go ahead and take my Iv'e chalk paint and paint over that middle part. I did about 3 coats. Next, I'm taking my Waverly Antique Wax and a sponge, and I'm just going to dab, dab, dab all the way around the perimeter of that Iv'e part in the middle. And then I'm going to lightly go in the middle of that Iv'e part as well. I wanted this to look kind of spooky and aged and antiqued, so that's what I'm going for here. Next, I'm going to take a little brush and just kind of outline the perimeter of the actual bottle with black paint. Now, you're going to see that I'm doing like kind of a straight line, but then you'll notice that I actually start smudging it a little bit on purpose. Well, actually, it was not on purpose at first, but I liked how it looked, so I went ahead and did it to the rest of it. So, and I'm just lightly brushing this just to highlight the outside of the potion bottle. So here is where I kind of decided to go around again, and I accidentally see right there, that thick mark. I was like, oops, and then I was like, wait, I actually really like that. So I just went ahead and did it all the way around my potion bottle again. And you can see I'm kind of using like the tip of that little foam brush, and because I just think that that gives the best kind of look, that it just helps with what I'm going for. Then I did lightly brush up at the top of the bottle, and then I'm going over the spider with the ivory paint just to make it pop a little bit more. Now on my Cricut, I did cut out the words love potion, so I'm going to add that into that little middle section there. Now if you don't have a Cricut, that's okay. You can use stickers, you can do rub-on transfers, you can do stencils, anything you have is fine. And then to kind of I don't know, tone down the black, I'm just lightly brushing over it with whatever ivory paint I had on the brush. And that was it. There's my love potion. Hey, did you know that I have another YouTube channel? Well, I do. That channel is called Life with Ash, and it is a more behind-the-scenes vlog style channel all about real life. If you love all things home decor, room makeovers, room refreshers, home decorating, hauls, shopping, organizing, decluttering, cleaning, mama life, mama hacks, and everything in between, this is definitely the channel for you. Like I said, I keep it real. This is a no judgment zone. I live in leggings. My hair is usually in a messy bun. My current scent is spit up and poop. And you'll hardly ever see me with makeup. So if you can relate to any of that, head on down to the description box for the link to my other channel, Life with Ash, and come hang out with me over there. For the third DIY, I'm going to take this sign that I had from the Dollar Tree for a few years now. I'm not sure if they have these anymore. However, you can use any long sign you have. Now, I am going to pull off the ribbon on the back, and you want to watch because these are staples and they will go flying. And then we are actually going to put all three of these little signs together to make one longer sign. So to get those staples out, I know that there's like a special tool for that. I don't have it, so I'm just using my pliers. So just use whatever you have. At one point, I used my weeding tool, so hey, whatever works. All right, so now I'm going to flip these signs over so the front is facing up, and then I'm going to arrange them in a somewhat straight line. And then I'm just going to take popsicle sticks and hot glue them all across my board to attach all three of these little signs together. Now the back is not going to be seen, and before I get any comments, I don't sell my crafts. All of these DIYs are for my home, and so you're not going to see me paint the backs, cover the backs. I don't have time for that, and it's just for me. Plus, most of the time I already know where I'm putting these, and if it's hanging up on a wall or if it's, you know, up against a wall on a shelf or something, then I'm definitely not going to cover the back. So I do appreciate your feedback on the backs of my DIYs, but I'm not going to do it unless I give it away as a gift or something like that. So now that we got that out of the way, after all three signs are put together, I just flipped it over and I took a baby wipe and some antique wax, and I'm just going to rub over all of my signs. I wanted this to look dirty and just old, so I love using the antique wax because that always gives me the look I'm going for. Next, I'm going to take a brush. I was trying to show you it kind of like it's been used. It's been through some stuff. But it's kind of like a wild and crazy brush. So I'm going to dip it in some black paint, and then I'm just going to dry brush the black paint over my sign. And then I'm going to take that baby wipe again and lightly brush over it or wipe over it. Now you don't want to wipe the black paint off. You're just kind of smudging it in a little bit. Then on my Cricut, I did cut out a stencil that said broom parking only. Now, I know I'm using my Cricut a lot in this video. That's because I have it and I want to use it. But like I said, there's so many different alternatives to cutting machines if you don't own one. So don't worry, you can still do these DIYs. So after I got my stencil down, I'm going to go over this again with some Waverly wax. That way, if it bleeds, then it'll bleed with the wax, which is already on there. So after I went over the whole thing with that, I'm going to take my ivory chalk paint and a sponge, and I am just going to kind of dab all over these words. Now, I do not want it perfect, and if it doesn't, you know, I'm not trying for perfect here, for perfection, because like I said, I wanted it to be old and aged anyways. So I'm going to go over all of my letters with that. And then it's time to peel it up. Now you can see that there was some bleeding at the bottom. Don't worry, we are going to fix that. But for the most part, I thought that this came out pretty good. So you're going to have to let me know if you started your Halloween decorating yet. Here's my shameless plug for the other channel I was just talking about. All of my Halloween decorating videos are on that channel. I already put up my living room and dining room video, and you're going to want to check it out because it's super cool. So I'd appreciate if you have not already, please hop over to that channel because I'm trying to build that one up like I did this one, and I would love to see you over there. Now to clean up that bleeding a little bit, I'm going to just take a wipe and gently wipe over it, and that seemed to work. Plus it kind of added more dimension with that ivory paint, so it kind of looked, I don't know, it kind of looked cool. All right, so now I'm going to brush over the words and the sign with that same brush I was using earlier with that black paint, and I didn't even add more paint. Whatever that was on the sign or on the paintbrush, that's what I'm using. Now I did feel like the sign needed something, so I'm just taking my twine and wrapping it around about 3 times on the top, and then I'm going to glue it to the back and cut it off, and then I'm going to do the same on the bottom. Now I'm specifically making this sign because I needed it for a display I'm going to do in my home, and that's the kind of theme with this video. I know exactly where I'm going to put this stuff, and I made it, it's not just random decor. I made it because I knew that I needed it for like a display or one of my themes or something like that. So again, you're going to have to watch my decorating videos. So the last thing I had to do was just add a hanger, so I'm simply just going to use that twine and hot glue each end down. And then to give it more support and just a better hold, I do add duct tape on here, and I do feel like that really helps. I usually do that a lot when it comes to putting hangers on the back of signs. But that's it. That is my broom parking only sign. It's simple, but it gets to the point, and I really love it. All right, this next one is super easy. I got these little potion bottles. They were hanging off of another sign that I got from the Dollar Tree, and I didn't use them. I used the sign, like the big part, but not these. So I thought, I feel like I could use them for something. So I'm going to just make some tiered tray decor. So all I did was take the ribbon off, and then I'm going to use these little wooden blocks that I got in a pack from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to hot glue them to the back to make stands. Now the trick to this is you do kind of want to lean it backwards a little bit. That way you know where to glue the blocks so they'll stand up on their own. Then I'm going to take my Waverly Antique Wax and that sponge again, and I am just going to dab, dab, dab all over the perimeter of these potion bottles and in the middle. Now I am paying attention to the around the edges of it and making it darker because I wanted to highlight those in like the corners. So then any of the antique wax that went in like in the words a little bit, I did kind of smudge with my finger too to rub it in. All right, now we're just going to add some simple bows with some fun ribbon. I just thought that this was a fun little glow up for these potion bottles. These would look cute in my daughter's playroom because I'm doing more of like the fun colors in there. It's not going to be spooky or anything. So I thought these would be cute in there or just on a tiered tray. You can make a witch apothecary, really anything, but it's just fun to think out of the box. And there you go. Now you have some really cute stand-up potion bottles. For the next DIY, we are going to make our own witch's hat. And I'm not a fan of the tinsel decor. I don't know, I just wanted it to look a little bit more high end. So what I'm going to do is cut little pieces off. That's my tip for how to get all this tinsel off. It took me a minute to figure out, but what you want to do is like make one cut and then it should all come out in one strand. So first we're going to take all of the tinsel off of this witch's hat. Then we're going to simply take some creepy cloth and we're going to go section by section and hot glue the creepy cloth going all the way around the top part of the witch hat. Take your time, add glue every so often, and like I said, work in sections and you're just going to work your way up. This one was so easy and it did not even use a whole creepy cloth. So really it only probably used half, maybe not even that much. So, now you have a whole another half of creepy cloth to do something with. Now, when you get to the top, you kind of just want to position it so it comes to a point, and then you will have to cut it off and then just kind of hot glue here and there where anything is sticking up. Then when you are done with the top, the point, you're going to hot glue the brim of the hat. So you're going to, again, just go section by section. And you can see I'm only putting hot glue on those two pieces there, the plastic pieces going around. And I'm just going to cover the whole thing. Now, I should have done this before I started this part, but I realized I wanted to cut those tabs off of the hat. So you'll see in a minute, I do take my scissors and cut those off. And they were, you can use wire cutters, but the scissors worked perfectly fine. Then after I had all those tabs cut off, I just went ahead and finished wrapping this, the bottom of the hat with the creepy cloth. Now I'm going to take some scissors and just trim around the edges and kind of just like crazy pieces hanging out or wild pieces and just kind of clean it up a little bit. If it's not perfect, that's okay because like I said, it's Halloween and nothing is perfect. It's kind of more spooky. So now I'm going to take this tool that I got from the Dollar Tree and I just cut off a piece because I'm going to wrap it around the bottom of my witch hat and I'm just going to tie it in a knot in the back and then I'm going to cut off the tails of the tool. And I did add some hot glue to where the knot is just to give it a stronger hold. Then I'm going to take one of those rings from the Dollar Tree and it is a spider ring with a little gem on it. And I'm going to cut the ring part off and then simply hot glue the spider to the front of my hat. And I felt like this was a great little glow up for a witch hat. For the next DIY, this one is very specific to a display that I made in my dining room. So if this doesn't match your decor, I'm just giving you an idea on how you can decorate a sign or just kind of, you can use the style of it, but the words can be different. So this piece also came off of a different sign from the Dollar Tree. I used the other half, but I did not use this little piece. So as you saw, I went ahead and cut the tag off. I sanded it down. I took the ribbons off, and then I gave it a couple coats of purple paint. Next, I am going to take these like little pop-up pearls and I'm going to paint them all black. And we're actually going to be using these in 2 DIYs in this video, so I'm really glad that I ended up doing that. So once those are all painted and dried, I am just going to take these strands, and these are nice because you don't have to individually pluck them off of the sheet. They all come off in one strand, or not all, but they're like in strands, I should say. And then I'm just going to outline this sign going all the way around with these little pearl beads. And they are self-adhesive, so I didn't have to add glue or anything. I just went ahead and put them down, and I feel like that was strong enough. Next, I cut this out from my Cricut. It says Crystal Shop, and I'm going to add that to the middle of my sign. And then to highlight the beads a little bit more, I'm going to take my silver metallic paint, and I am just going to lightly brush over the beads, but I'm also going to go over the words as well, just to kind of tone down the bright white and to make it look a little bit more spooky. Next, I'm going to take these other gems that I had in my stash, and I'm going to use 2 lime green ones and put one on either side. And then I'm going to take another one of those spider rings, and this time it has the orange gem in it. I'm going to cut off the ring part and hot glue it to the top to cover that hole. And that's it. I love how this Crystal Shop sign came out, and you're going to have to check out that decorating video on my other channel to see how I used it. Next, I'm going to take these 2 cups that I got from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to remove the lid and the straw, and then I'm going to take my black paint and a sponge and just dab, dab, dab all over each one of these skulls with the paint. Now, if you don't want to do this part, you don't have to. It was just a little too shiny for me, so I just felt like this would help dull it down. I also went in with some Waverly Antique Wax and my metallic silver paint as well, just to kind of add some dimension, and I thought that these looked really cool. It kind of looked galvanized. I wasn't going for galvanized, but that's just how it ended up, but I just thought that these looked really neat at the end. Next, I'm going to take this pack of taper candles that I also got from the Dollar Tree and spray paint them black. And then I also spray painted one of these little candlestick holders from the Dollar Tree as well. Now, you can use a stronger glue for this, but I just decided to use some hot glue, and all you're simply going to do is take one of the skulls and hot glue it to the top of the stand. We're going to make like little candle holders here, and I thought this has got to be one of my favorite DIYs in this whole video. Now, like I said, you may want to use stronger glue like super glue or E6000, but the hot glue actually seems to be working. I did give some extra hot glue to the bottom, like where the stand meets the cup too, just for an extra hold. And then I'm simply going to hot glue the bottom of that taper candle to the lid. Now, don't worry, you can still twist off the top of the candle to go ahead and put batteries in, and to replace the batteries, and then to turn it on and off. So for the other one, I decided that I just wanted that to be, at a lower level. So I'm just going to hot glue the taper candle onto that. Now, one tip when you spray paint or paint these, definitely use some painter's tape to cover the light on the top, because you don't want to paint that black. Then what I'm going to do is take my metallic paint and a sponge and just dab, dab, dab all over the black little stand here. And then I do go around the lids of the cups too. For some reason, I didn't do that at first. See right here. And then that's it. Now I have these really cool candle holders. Now, one thing I do suggest is putting rocks or marbles in the smaller one to give it some weight so it doesn't tip over. But I love those. For the next DIY, I'm going to take a headband that I already had and a Halloween scarf, and we are going to use this as fabric to make our own little Halloween headband. Now, I made one for fall last year, and I've been making these for like every season, and I wanted just kind of like a fun Halloween one without any bats or skulls or anything, and I thought that this scarf was perfect for that. So this is an infinity scarf, so it is kind of like two layers when you spread it all out. I'm going to try my best to explain how to do this, but it is easier for you to just watch carefully because it's just kind of hard to explain. But what I decided to do was just cut off a little strip that I knew that would be thick enough to wrap around the headband. Now, I did double it up, so it is like folded. So there's two layers to this, and then I'm just going to cut that strip. Next, I'm going to kind of compare it to the headband, and once I have the length that I need, I'm going to cut off the excess so it's easier to work with. And because I don't want any of those ends, or it was just like a little too wide, I went ahead and hot glued the ends in to make them nice and clean. Now don't forget, this is two layers, so as you can see, that top layer there, that's going to glue, and then I have to go back and hot glue the second layer. Now this is easy to make, it's just hard to explain. And this is one of those DIYs that I feel like once you do it once, you'll get it, and like it'll be easy to do. But just hang with me here, because like I said, it's kind of hard to explain. So now I'm going to take my hot glue and hot glue the second layer. And then once that's done, I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. Next, I'm going to take my headband and I am just going to simply hot glue the ends to the inside of the headband. You're going to get a better shot here in just a second when I move it. Now, I would definitely recommend using that little tool that I have there or something to protect your fingers, because this is pretty thin material and you definitely don't want to burn yourself. So as you can see, I'm just pulling both sides in and hot gluing it, and you want to pull it taut because you don't want it to be loose. So I just did this until the entire headband was covered. Now to cover that inside, and this part is optional, I took some ribbon and just, used it to kind of cover the exposed part of the headband. But like I said, this is optional. You don't have to do it because this would be on your head, so no one would see it. But you do want to make sure that you push down just make sure it's pushed down really well, because you don't want it to bubble up, because you don't want it to get stuck in your hair. Next, we're going to clean up the ends a little bit. So I just took some black ribbon and cut off a long piece, and then long ways you are going to hot glue the ends on the inside, just like you did with the actual fabric. Now it is a long piece, so don't cut it off. You want to make it, I'm really bad at guessing measurements, but just, make it long enough that it would at least fold over. So I'm going to bring both ends in and hot glue them down. I really hope this is all making sense, but you want to make sure to pull this ribbon taut as well. Now, with that extra ribbon there, we are going to glue down the end to to itself. And we're going to do this on both sides. That way it makes it a little thinner for when we go to fold it on the inside to wrap around, just like that. And then you're simply going to hot glue it down to the inside of the headband and cut off the excess. After that side's done, you're going to do the exact same thing to the other side. Next, we're going to take another piece of that scrap fabric and you're going to fold each end into the middle, and then you're just going to simply wrap it around the top of your headband and just tie it in a knot, and it's going to look like a little bow. And I thought this came out so fun, and I cannot wait to wear it to all of our upcoming Halloween festivities. I just feel like it adds so much to your outfit, and like I said, it is easy to make. I know it looked kind of complicated, but once you do it one time, it really is like nothing. Now, I am going through and hot gluing down just where necessary if anything was popping up, but that's it. Look at this cute Halloween headband. All right, next up, we are going to make a really cool book. So I got this book from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to first remove the cover. And then just by using some black acrylic paint, I'm going to paint it. Now, this was dark enough. It only needed one coat. And as you can see, I accidentally added way too much. So it kind of made it a little bumpy, but I actually kind of liked how that looked. It kind of gave it a little spook factor. Next, I'm going to take this wooden heart that I just had in my stash, and I'm going to hot glue it to the middle of the book, and then I'm going to paint that black as well. Now, this was an afterthought, or else I would have glued the heart down first before I painted all of it, but it doesn't matter. Either way, you just want the whole top black. Next, I'm going to take my hot glue and just outline around the heart, and then I also put some hot glue in that hole at the top of the heart to fill it. It doesn't really matter, I guess, but that's just a little hack you can do to fill holes. So I'm going to go all the way around my heart. And then what I'm going to do is just make some cool designs using my hot glue. So I'm going to do like a little loopy-loo up top here, and then I'm going to do some designs down at the corners, and then I'm going to use my hot glue gun to make some dots. Now, after all my hot glue was dry, I did go over my designs one more time just to make them a little bit thicker and to help them stand out. So now I'm going to make my own mixture of that deep red color, and I'm trying to get the same red color. It's like kind of like a red, like Merlot, like a wine. And I'm trying to get the same color as that potion bottle at the very beginning that I got from the Dollar Tree. So it's actually sitting next to me, and I'm kind of comparing it. And what I'm going to do is, after I feel like I got the right color, I'm just going to paint over my book. And I do it on the binding as well. I just didn't show it. Next, I'm going to take those black raised dots again, and I'm going to go around the heart on the inside of the heart. And then I took some just like single ones and I put them all around my book because I thought that that would add a cool little touch as well. Now I felt like this red paint really wasn't dark enough for me, so I'm going to go over it one more time, and I'm kind of going to do a heavier hand so that way it is just a little bit more red. Now here's when I noticed that you could still see kind of like part of the blue of the book. So I'm just taking my black paint and painting any blue that you can still see. Next, I'm going to take my sponge and I'm going to dip it in some antique wax and just, rub it on the pages just to kind of make it look old and antiqued and just, just rough. Next, I'm going to take my silver metallic paint and that sponge, and I'm just going to dab it all over my book, especially highlighting the raised hot glue designs. Then I'm going to dip it in the red paint and I'm going to do the same thing and just dab, dab, dab it all over the front of the book. And then I do the binding as well. Look how cool that is. I just think it is, I just think that's so neat. All right, now I cut out another stencil from my Cricut, and this one says Love Spells. So I'm going to carefully place it in the middle of the heart, and then by using my ivory chalk paint, I'm going to stencil my words on. Now, I was praying that this worked because it was like just not pushed down all the way because of those raised little things. So I peeled it up very slowly. But as you can see, it actually turned out pretty good. I feel like I could have made these words a little bigger, but that's okay. Next, I'm going to just take that antique wax and just dab a little bit over the words. And there we go. Now we have a book of love spells. This last DIY would make a perfect gift for someone or just a fun keepsake. So I took a wood round and I painted it black. And then I'm going to put both of my daughter's footprints on the bottom of the wood round with their toes towards the bottom. And to do that, I just used white paint. Next, I cut this out on my Cricut and it just says, "Be our ghost." Get it? Get it? Be our ghost. And then I'm just going to take a simple black marker and give the little ghost's eyes and a mouth. Now, I thought of this after the fact, but I should have added little bows to them. I thought that that would be so cute. I still might go back and do that. So we actually had to do my baby's footprint twice. So as you can see, it's kind of got smudged a little bit. So we are going to go and clean that up, and I'm just going to take a really small paintbrush and just dip it in some black paint and just paint around the ghost or any spots that might have white on it that shouldn't. Now, I did feel like this sign was missing something, so I just took a foam brush and I dipped it in some Iv'e chalk paint, and I'm just dabbing it all the way around my sign, and then I'm just going to take some regular white ribbon to create a hanger. Now, I was going to add more to the sign, but I really don't want to take away from the footprints, which is the whole point. So I thought this came out so cute. I did on the back put the year, and so this is a fun keepsake, but this is like a great grandma gift. You can give it to mother-in-laws or friends or whoever, but this is so cute and I can't wait to display it in our home. All right, well, that completes 10 Halloween DIYs, and here's the final reveal. I absolutely love how these came out. I thought these were so fun. You're going to have to let me know down in the comments which one was your favorite, but I was not kidding when I said these are so quick and easy to do. Even this book that seemed like it took forever, it really didn't, and it was a lot of fun to mix the paints and just kind of go for it, and I cannot wait to display that in my bedroom. Again, I want to remind you that if you want to see how I styled all of these pieces, hop over to my other channel, Life with Ash. The link is in my description box, so you can check out my Halloween decor for 2023. I hope that you got a ton of inspiration and ideas for these last minute DIYs. Let me know if you started decorating, and I want to hear what your themes are or what you're going with. I am actually about to post a Hocus Pocus kitchen and coffee bar video, so you're not going to want to miss it. If you loved this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and definitely turn on your notifications because we are coming into Christmas season, as you know, and so I'll be posting a ton more content that I know you are going to want to see. Thank you again so much for joining me, and until I see you again, I'll craft with you soon. Bye! Hey, if you loved today's video, then definitely check this one out, and don't forget to click on my photo to subscribe. Thanks for watching!